Hi, my name is Rick Sanchez. I'm with a company called Tractor Tip, and what we have for sale here today on this rainy day in Dallas, Texas is a Case SV185. We're going to talk a little bit about the mechanics of this particular machine in the first clip, the operating specs in the second. We'll run it in the third. Price on a new machine like this these days is about $42,000. This machine currently has 985 hours on it. It is in excellent shape. As far as manufacturers go, you know, Case is pretty much ubiquitous out there. We got this machine half in the garage and half out. I hope you can see the engine here a little bit. But this machine weighs 6,500 pounds. The widest point is actually this bucket. This bucket's a little bit bigger than standard. It's 5 foot 11 inches. The highest point is the top of this cab right here, which is 6 foot 7 inches. The transportation length from the tip of that cutting edge all the way to the back of the machine is 11 foot. Comparable machines are like a Cat 232 or maybe a John Deere 240. Or maybe a Bobcat SV185. As far as the history of this unit goes, this machine, like most of the machines we purchased, is an original owner machine. It's got no rust. We're far enough south and 300 miles from the ocean, so the only salt we see on our kitchen tables is the salt that we see on our kitchen tables. It comes from a large, well-organized contractor that had a comprehensive maintenance program that rivals some of the best I've seen. We, as well as our customers, have been happy with all the machines we purchased from these guys, and it should be said that before I buy any machine, my mechanic's thoroughly inspected, and then I inspect it before we buy the machine. This machine, as far as the engine goes, this is a Case ISM N844T engine. It's got a gross horsepower of 60, net horsepower of 57. It's got a 20-gallon fuel tank which will run you 12 to 16 hours of operation depending on the application. As far as options go, this machine's got a pattern control change valve, if you can see it in there. It's a ISO to, there you go, ISO to H-style controls, however you want to do it. It's got high flow hydraulics. It's got regular hydraulics, and then it's got high flow hydraulics. So if you're going to use it to run a milling machine or a sweeper or anything else, this machine will run absolutely every attachment that you can put. You know, obviously it's got a coupler. It's got a universal coupler, so it doesn't matter if it's Bobcat, John Deere, Cat, Komatsu. All the attachments will couple into that buckler. It's a coupler. It's a universal coupler. I thought I saw a keyed battery disconnect. Did it have one? Yeah. I forgot it's got a keyed battery disconnect. There it is. So if you're going to let the machine set for any length of time, and you know you've got a slow short or whatever, or there's just a natural drain to these batteries, so if you're going to let it set for a week, you just hit that keyed battery disconnect. It's also good for theft control or theft prevention. This machine is mechanically sound. It's got no leaks. Everything on it works. The transmission propels it with absolutely no problem. The top speed on this machine is actually 12 miles an hour. This machine will go 12 miles an hour in forward, and I think it's like 8 in reverse or something like that. Another option with this machine is that it's four-wheel drive. Inherently, all skid steers are four-wheel drive, but it should be said, I guess, that it's four-wheel drive. These tires, if you can see them, are 90%. They're in excellent shape. There's no cuts in any of the tires. The tire size, they're 10 by 16 and a half. They all match. They're all I was thinking they were solid tires, but they're not. They're not foam filled. They're regular pneumatic tires, but they're in really good shape, and they've got a pretty big, a tall profile. All the hydraulics are strong. There's no cracks or welds anywhere in the work equipment. All of the pins and the bushings are relatively tight. This cutting edge is almost 100%. It's never been turned. The guy told me that these are the original tires on the machine, and that's the original cutting edge. So I don't know how it's got 985 hours on it, because it must have sat idle most of the time. As far as the bucket goes, this bucket again is 5 foot 11 inches. Okay, the tire width is 5 foot 2 inches. So if you were transporting the machine, you could have the bucket perpendicular to the machine, and your transport profile would be 5 foot 2. But the bucket itself is 5 foot 11 inches wide. The height is 1 foot 9 inches, and the depth of the bucket is 3 feet. This bucket is a 1.8 cubic yard bucket. You can see that right there. I'm sorry, that can't be right. This bucket is about a 3/4 yard bucket. I'm sorry. There's no way it's 1.8 cubic yards. The specs on the machine call it a 3/4 yard bucket. The hinge pin height, this is what I call the hinge pin height, like if you're loading into a dumpster, is 10 foot on this machine. The static tip load of this loader is 3,700 pounds, and basically what the static tip load is that the lifting capacity of this machine is, or the hydraulics are so powerful on this machine that the lifting capacity is limited by the weight of the machine, so that the machine will actually tip forward before the hydraulics give out. So the lifting capacity is limited to the weight of the unit. The operating capacity is usually, in most excavators, half of what the static tip load is. So this machine, the operating capacity, as you can see right there, is 1,815 pounds. 1,850 pounds. So that means that you can, you know, go at a pretty good clip and not worry about the machine tipping over on you. We've also got a set of forks, so we're going to pause the video. Okay, so these forks, this is an optional set of forks. We also have a new set of forks, but they're not at this yard. The height of these forks is 3 feet. The carriage width is 4 feet. And those tines are 3 foot 6 inches. So, like I say, these are heavy duty forks, but we also have another set of forks, a brand new set of forks at another yard. So we're gonna run the machine in the next clip. Okay, so this is the inside of the cab here. Basically, I'm just going to show all the buttons. Little dome light, little visor. This is your ignition switch. Here's your pattern control from ISO to H. Here's an auxiliary hydraulics button. Park brake. That's a glass right there. When you go to turn this thing on, you get a glow plug that comes on. and get that operate button. And you hit this button right here, park light,